Now, you forget about that one. And you keep them coming in. You're doing well, son.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is
What's up, Donald? How we doing, brother?
Man, I am doing good, brother.
Heck yeah, man. It is Friday, and we are live. Welcome in, everybody. We are live, and we are going to be having a fun show, and we're going to be talking about some Bigfoot Sasquatch.
It sounds like it's a big deal.
Yeah, man. I'm excited. Let's see what we got going. Don't get scared there. You know what I mean? that pop out, just,
I think
scare you. What's that, brother?
I said I think I dated her.
Yeah, so once upon a time. But hey, man, I appreciate you joining us. Well, I mean, you're always with us, but
Yeah, man.
I'm excited for this show, and I'm excited to talk some Bigfoot.
Yeah.
And we even have a special guest to share an encounter with us at some point in time. But what is your experience with Bigfoot?
So, it's no secret, man. At the end of the day, I didn't have a lot of knowledge on this topic when you chose it. So I kind of had to dive deep. And I found an article from the History Channel about where all the different tales kind of come back to, at least to where the original tales was. It was like 1958 in Northern California. There was a newspaper article, a writer that wrote a story because there was these loggers that kept talking about these big footprints that they were finding, right? And it was kind of like a laurel between all the damn tree cutters and loggers and everything. So he wrote this article just thinking it would be funny Sunday reading, and the people just kind of got hooked on it. And so that's where the story, they gave it a name, they called it Bigfoot, and it talks about how even through up in Canada, where the name from Sasquatch came from, that even those tales can be traced back down to that article starting it. So it doesn't say that it's not true. It just says that's where that article is kind of what spun what we have today, the craze that you see little Sasquatches on the back windows of Mama and Papa Sasquatch and the three little Sasquatches next to them.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, and there's even movies and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And let me show you where I kind of got a little bit of my inspiration from.
On the ground, there was a footprint. A big footprint. So I was hooked from that moment on. I started spending all the time I could spare searching for the beast, and I spent time I couldn't spare. That's how I lost my job and my friends.
It's so sad.
Well, I didn't tell it so you could cry in your sprouts or whatever that is, darling. I'm telling it so that your father won't make the same mistake.
Well, I appreciate what you're saying, Dr. Wrightwood, but There's a big difference between your story and mine.
Not as big as you think.
Maybe even bigger.
No, you're kidding yourself. I remember what you told me when you came into my shop. Bigfoot can come live with us. We'll accept the responsibility. Can you imagine what a Bigfoot would do to your home? Yeah, well, I can. You're good people. I'm going to say this once. I'm going to say it simple. And I hope to God, for your sakes, you all listen. There are no abominable snowmen. There are no Sasquatches. There are no big feet. Am I missing something? Oh, Lord God.
Dr. Wrightwood, say hello to Harry.
Oh man, Harry and the Hendersons. That movie right there was one of my favorites as a kid. Watched it over and over. And I think that at that time is when, especially as a kid, man, you know, the believing in it was so much more. I think, you know, I was like, wow, there's got to be a Bigfoot, and I hope he comes home with me.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't even imagine living with a Bigfoot. So if you don't mind, let's bring our guest on, because I know she's having some technical difficulties in the background. I think when we put her in the room, can you hear now? Nope. She has no.
You need to leave and then come back in. You might need to leave and then come back in, like leave the studio and then bounce back in. That's what happens sometimes. All right, we'll get her situated. Well, she's probably going to actually leave and then come back in. Like I'll have to probably. Oh, there she goes. Once she reconnects, when she comes in, she might actually have sound.
Yeah, I was.
But we're going to have Barbara Sim come in, and she's actually living in her van and driving all across the world. So, you know, she out of anybody would have an opportunity to run in or have an encounter herself. Also, I guess while we're waiting, I'm going to kind of show a map here because I was kind of curious. Is like, where are all the different areas where they're saying they've seen Bigfoot? And this is the map that we're seeing here. And then I'm going to get back onto this. But if you go over to like, here's the U.S. You can tell on the East Coast and really hardcore on the West Coast, it is just lit up. So, you know, they must be seeing a lot of stuff over there. Oh, there she is. Is it working now?
Yeah, I can hear y'all now.
All right.
There we go.
I was like, your lips are
StreamYard
moving.
likes to be a
coming out.
StreamYard likes to be a pain in the butt sometimes. But yeah, so I was just kind of going over a little bit of a map here. This is kind of a map that I had found, and these are different encounters that they've talked about. And like I said, if you look over here on the West Coast, they have a lot of encounters, especially up in the Oregon and Washington area. And those are all heavily wooded areas and stuff like that, you know. And I think that you're genuinely finding that that's pretty much where all these encounters are, in heavily wooded areas. Now, Barbara.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a little bit about your experience and what your encounter was, and where were you at?
I was in the Grand Tetons in Wyoming last summer. So it was either June or July. And I was coming back from Jackson Hole, and it was night, and I was driving my van, and it was like that little area where the meadow is, where you can still see the mountains, and is right before the tree line. And my headlights hit something moving into the tree line, and I remember thinking, that's really fucking tall. Like, what is that? And so as I got closer, because, you know, when you're driving, I mean, I was driving pretty slow because it was, you know, wilderness at night. You don't want to hit shit. But as I got closer to it, I noticed it was really tall. It was moving pretty, like, leisurely. It had long, shaggy, blondish hair. So, like, most Sasquatches, you see, like, the dark hair. But this one had, like, a lighter hair. And I thought it was like a elk or something. But then it, like, turned at the fucking waist. And before I started sounding like a crazy person, I didn't believe in Sasquatch. Before this, I thought it was just some silly little rumor or whatever. But that thing turned at the waist and, like, looked back at me. And at that time, I was, like, just passing by it. So I wasn't going to stop and go check it out.
Right. You'd be that
I didn't
next
know if it was
horror
a
movie, like when they all stop and like, let's go see what that was.
Yeah.
Yeet, 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 you know.
Yeah. He already noticed me. I didn't want to be like, I'm already on his radar. Just keep going.
Right.
Maybe he
So-
was hitchhiking, you know, he's like, is she stopping?
Yeah. But I was going through all the things that what it could be. Like, in that area, there's a lot of bison, bear, elk. It couldn't have been any of those. Like, it looked like it was really, really tall. It was moving leisurely. Like, elk kind of like more hop, you know, like kind of like deer-like. Bear are all fours. They're usually shorter. And bison are like dark brown, you know. They're not going through the tree line. Usually they're in the fields, right? So
Yeah, now you kind of made like an outline of the body too, like, or is it more or less that you just
it was like leaning forward, and it was into the tree line. Like, this is the tree line. Oh, there we go. And it was like walking into the tree line. So it was like kind of like moving like that. And it was like, there's like a little ditch right here. Like, here's the road and there's a little ditch. And it like was coming up out of the ditch into the tree line. And it was really tall and moving pretty leisurely. And it turned at the waist. That's what got me. I was like, what was that? And then I found out later that Sasquatch, that area is known for Sasquatch sightings. And I was like, well, maybe that's what I saw. Pretty sure.
Wow, that is kind of crazy. Now
It fits.
let's go. I'm going to share one more thing and kind of look in that general area. But before we get there, so kind of elaborate a little bit more on your whole background when it came to Bigfoot or, you know, Sasquatch. Like, what have you always thought about it, and when, at what point in your life did you watch Harry and the Henderson too?
I did. It was a good show, good movie. I mean, I always
Right.
thought it was like just silly, you know, it's like a silly superstition, like a silly conspiracy, I guess. Like, I never actually believed it was real. Because, like, first of all, that's a huge fucking animal. You're telling me out of so many years, so many sightings, nobody's gotten a good snag on one. Nobody's caught one. Nobody's gotten a good picture. They're always blurry. So
That
it
is
just always seemed
crazy.
like silly. But something was out there in those woods, and it was not an elk or a bear.
Yeah, they said they have about 28 different listings in terms of the sightings in Wyoming. So this is kind of a list here of the different states that have said that they reported, you know, being Bigfoot. So
what's the highest one?
let's go through it. California 461.
I think it's Washington State.
Oh, no. Do you think
Oregon,
drugs have anything to do with it?
and actually Washington 713.
Wow.
They've seen enough that it can actually be a small little town.
Well, I'm going over there this spring, probably, to the West Coast, so I'll keep an eye out.
You're gonna have to
There
worry.
is that's where the most of the sightings are. So California 461, Oregon 257, and then Washington 713. So chances are,
Does it say particular areas or just statewide?
I'm sure if you were to click into it, let's mess around. Oh, it does. So here we go. Spokane 7. Okay, so let's kind of go through and see. Whatcam 21. Yakima 26. Oh, Lewis 50 sightings. Grays Harbor 45. King 47. These are the different counties, it looks like. and then it kind of breaks down. I guess the red would be where you're seeing most of it. So it looks like it's actually more of central Washington is
that
where
more
they got a
park
lot of
areas? I don't know Washington. Is that like park areas?
I'm not quite sure myself, but let's look into California. Okay, sheesh, let's see. Shasta, 29. I've been to Shasta. There's a lake there. Los Angeles, 20. Them fools are on something else.
Yeah.
Humboldt County, good old Humboldt, man. Them Bigfoots must like the greens. 47. Yeah, that's it breaks it down to different counties and stuff. So that is pretty cool. So I mean, you can see that there's obviously a big thing for this because now they got websites dedicated to it, things of that nature.
So I had a situation that happened in those areas that you were just talking about, right? Down in the Oregon area. Coming from Portland down, not Portland, Portland, coming down into there's a ski resort there right there where just south of the Oregon-California border. And you can kind of dive off and you follow through that ski resort, and it's, I don't know, 200-300 miles, and it takes you to Reno, Nevada, right? So I was coming back. I was empty. I just delivered a tanker full of soap, and I wanted to get back to Reno before my time was up, and something came running out of the woods, right? And all I seen looking over the top of the end of my semi truck was eyes, right? I locked up my brakes, and there was another semi truck that was behind me. He tried to go around me, and then he locked up his brakes, and he was literally stopped side by side. We were looking at each other, and I just kind of went, "The hell was that?" I thought it was a bear, but maybe, I mean, because whatever it was tall enough for me to see its eyes.
A tall bear.
Yeah. It was tall enough for me to see its eyes over the top.
He was walking on his hind legs, running across the street.
That's totally what they do. That's normal for bears.
He's probably over there hitchhiking, like, "Hey, son of a bitch, slow down."
Oh my gosh. How tall is the front of the semi? I don't even know.
So if I'm standing in front of it, I'm like eye level with the top. So 6 foot.
Okay, so it could be.
Yeah, it could be like
on its back legs, because grizzlies get up to like what, 10, 12 feet.
Well, this would have been a black bear, so I don't think there's too many.
I don't think they get that big, actually. Huh?
Yeah, they're the smaller of the bears, but
right.
Yeah. I've encountered several people too, just wandering through the woods there and just come walking out and like, "Peace, love, I'm out of here." And they just keep on cruising through the woods,
Right.
But this was not a person.
Yeah, well, you know what? Let's watch a little video of some encounters that are supposedly captured, and we'll talk about it and see what we think.
We'll see how blurry.
So, what the biggest common thing with a lot of those videos? They're so blurry, right? And our cameras are this day. I mean, if you're showing footage now, there's no way it looks like that. No one's not that many people are operating with a flip phone or anything like that. And even a flip phone has a good camera on there. So, I mean, that's kind of one thing that always kind of questions me when I see some of these videos of like sightings, because it could be their homies, sitting on each other or lap or whatever, and just getting in some costume, and there's things that you can do on videos and stuff as well.
So that one where the Bigfoot just walked right past that was definitely
that was not.
Yeah, and I think so too, and that's why I put it on there, because these are kind of the things that people see. But I think when I actually watched that and I kind of slowed it down, pretty sure dude was wearing gloves. You know what I mean? Like I could see the overlap from the gloves.
Well, if they're so elusive, like they're such a elusive creature, right? Apparently, like it's not gonna walk that close by you, just all like, oh, hello. Like it would notice you. They probably have like really good smell or something.
The other thing too is what was that guy hunting? Because that damn camera was pointed up. What the hell was he looking for? Because supposedly it was a trail camera. I don't have my shit facing up where I can see the top of an 8-foot tall fucking Sasquatch. Whatever he's hunting, I hope it's a big ass gun he's got. He was after
right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. And that one right there was, especially the one walking by, that one really, really throws me off. So and then
it's fake too.
What's that?
There's another one. It's not fake, but there's another one was a hunter. That one that was all black, where it looked like he was walking and he stopped and squatted down. Yeah. That was a person that was out there hunting, camouflaged up, pulling some shit out of their damn rucksack. Well,
that looked like old Medicine Man Bill back in the shack in the woods, got caught walking around at night.
Yeah,
to me, it looked like it's an old man with his old beard, and
yeah.
Like, right. He's like, oh, I was coming down to take a bath. Yeah, I don't know
to offend anybody, but that one where it's all humpback walking, kind of funny. I bet that was a West Virginia sighting.
Oh no! That one where his arms were like really, really, really long. It was a little bit blurry.
That last one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
That first one.
Playing the conspiracy side of it all, you come to wonder, like in the forest area, there's sometimes webbing and stuff or whatever that's hanging off of trees, and then it blows and it does, kind of's got a wave on it. It's hard to say if those were all tails, and it just, and you can hear the howling of the wind sometimes. But I've seen video too where it's like I hear these weird yellings and stuff, but it's like, I don't know. That could also be somebody's friend over there just playing the game and having some weird scream and like playing with a sound machine and deepening it a little bit, like kind of like this. And no, I'm a big Sasquatch. It's easy,
like it's always different. I don't ever hear like the same sounds that they think it is. And a lot of the sounds that they like, oh, what's that? I'm like, you're in the woods at night. Like there's creatures that make, like foxes make horrifyingly haunting sounds.
And actually deer do too when they're getting murdered or something by a bear. They scream.
Wouldn't you?
Well, hell yeah, bro. I mean, I think anybody would,
They said, just lay here. This fucker's slapping the piss out of me. He said, deer do too when it's getting mauled by a bear.
Joe, what's going on, man? Welcome in. What is your experience with Sasquatch or Bigfoot, man? You had any experience out there, Joel? But yeah, man, I don't know.
None of those look like the one I saw. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah, see, and that's the thing. You know, and that's the other thing. There's different versions. Did you look? Yours look like more Harry and the Henderson look ish.
It was like long, shaggy, like more golden hair.
That's
Like
right.
that.
You know what's funny is when I was looking at for videos of these, there were like guys just walking and just normal dudes and just acting like they're like here's Bigfoot or all of a sudden someone be walking and they just show like a big shoe, Bigfoot. I'm like, oh gosh, damn.
Yeah.
To get 30 seconds on this video real quick. Like, oh shit, where's the Sasquatch coming?
Hey, that one where the guy was running with the camera. Did I hear a gunshot in the background?
No, I think he about shit his pants is all.
Okay.
Are you talking about that like Blair Witch Project one where he's like breathing hard?
Yeah. Because I'm
dude freaked out.
What caliber do you need to kill Bigfoot? And what the fuck were you doing in the woods with it? Because I'm not chasing Bigfoot with a 22. I'm out here squirrel hunting with a shotgun or something. I'm not chasing after Bigfoot with that shit.
So I was always kind of wondering too, in terms of where in the world are other places that are other than USA. Well, I'm like, is this just a USA myth or is this more based around other places? And I did see that there is some accounts in Canada. It looks like a lot in Alberta.
Yeah, but Canada, they migrated from America.
What's that?
If they're in Canada, they just migrated from America, though.
Right. True. Because I mean, it does look like they did kind of just scatter. What's funny is it looks like they did kind of scatter from these regions. Kind of right. I mean, except in this one area right above North Dakota, maybe. But then there's some in Alaska.
Yeah, there's actually a documentary out right now on Amazon about the Sasquatch in Alaska. And I can't remember, I should have looked it up before I got on here, but there's like a whole town off of the Kenai Peninsula across the bay from Homer. Oh gosh, what's it called? Anyway, a whole village moved out of that area because there was a large creature in the woods and they kept finding body parts of like village people. And then there was a woman accompanying this creature and she was the floating woman. And so they would often be seen together. So there's like, I got to look it up, but there's like a whole story behind it. And then there's a documentary on, because a lot of people go missing in Alaska. And I mean, there's a lot of wilderness out there. So I feel like that has a lot to do with it, but I haven't watched the documentary yet. So I want to, but it talks about the creatures that have stolen people in Alaska. So
it looks like there's nothing in South America whatsoever.
They already migrated.
Mm.
they're just stuck up in the Americas.
They're part of the
crazy is this Maui.
They don't like the weather.
Look how like that one's really different colored than the rest. That's kind of crazy. And then it looks up like the Europe areas.
So it does kind of make sense. So I'll play the side as a believer, right? You think about if that article I read was true, that all this kind of came from loggers in the Washington, Upper California, Oregon area in 1958, right? I would imagine that the towns and everything up there following I-5 all the way up look awfully different today than they did in 1958. So it would make sense that as towns expanded and more people were wandering through the woods, that if the tale is true, that these are creatures that want to be left alone, that they would migrate to other places. Mm-hmm. So if you do kind of look at that map, that's what it does kind of look like. Mm-hmm. Other than all this stuff over here on the East Coast, but they're probably lying anyways.
They really like areas.
They're like what?
Like all the wooded areas, like the plains and the desert areas are very sparse
Yeah.
for
Yep,
sightings.
even like Florida is pretty heavily populated. So it makes you almost wonder, like, did they escape from South America, end up in North America, and are slowly migrating up?
Hmm.
I don't know, man.
I wonder if
It's kind
there's
of
like
interesting.
a timeline, if you can like correlate the time of the sightings in the areas and see if there's like a migration pattern.
That would be interesting.
Oh, there's something in Australia,
No,
That was a
that
kangaroo.
guy was just drunk.
Queensland.
You seen the video of the guy that was boxing the kangaroo for his dog? That's who's seen that.
You're right. Those kangaroos would kick a Bigfoot's ass, I tell you. Dhaka
They're
Yep.
in
scary.
Bangladesh.
Bangladesh.
Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, look at
Yeah,
that.
there's no Bigfoot in
Jeez.
Bangladesh.
You know, they're seeing them.
So it
They're
is-
just reporting them because they don't want to be crazy.
So it is kind of crazy, though, that I mean, they are kind of having reports of them in
In
like
Finland?
such a like Finland as well.
And that's the one big foot that's got the right idea. Finland would be cool as shit to go to.
Got the whole country to himself.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Hmm.
Yeah.
My nearest neighbor
Norway.
needed.
It just makes me wonder about the reporting methods.
Yeah, it does make you wonder. I mean, because and then there's another there's this website and it kind of has it more broken down, and then even here it's kind of less. There's like Alberta, British Columbia, then there's Australia, China, Indonesia, Malaysia.
Those are knockoff Bigfoots. They're like 5 foot tall. Yeah, I know, but
Malaysia 36.
Ooh.
Jeez. That is kind of interesting though to see how many places are dedicated to this. So this is this comprehensive database of credible sightings and related reports is maintained by an all volunteer network of Bigfoot Sasquatch researchers, activists, and investigators in the United States and Canada, the BFRO.
Hmm.
that sounds.
If you had a sighting
really
in
wanna
the
learn
United
more.
States, you need to probably call in your sighting. In the United States, Canada, or other country, please take a moment and report it to our team of scientists. The report will be kept quiet and not published if you request it.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah, because I definitely didn't believe in this stuff before. I just thought it was silly conspiracy, and then I saw something like it was not a normal animal, and I just want to learn more and more about it. But I'm also like, do you want to go down that rabbit hole?
Yes, you do.
Hey, Joel.
I'm gonna tell you. I am very open minded. I am. So, I will never. I'm not one of those guys that will ever say that there is no chance that there's ever been a Bigfoot. A Loch Ness monster, aliens, whatever topic we get into, I will always be open minded. And the reason for that is because I understand how much of our planet we have actually explored. If you ever gone into the woods, deep into the woods hiking, it is easy to get turned around. You could walk in a circle for 4 days and thought you were in the whole area when you were really in an 8-mile area.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's still fighting species of different kind of animals in the ocean. I mean, so it's not too far fetched. I'm kind of with you too, man. I'm like that. I'm not gonna shut the door on it, especially when there's as many encounters out there and as many stories as that. It's just not. It's either that everybody's just trying to do their thing, but I don't know, man. There's just too much of it and too much dedication to it, and these people are actually putting their time and life, investing their whole lives into it.
Yeah. It just makes me wonder how intelligent that they are and how dangerous, because maybe the reason we're getting so many far off blurry scary random pictures and stuff is because the ones that do get close enough don't survive. Like
No.
they're the ones that end up missing.
I think if somebody killed one, they would already try to profit off of it. It would have been, here, I will sell the fur, the hair, here's a toe,
No, I'm saying the person that finds them is the one.
Oh, I got you.
Being a missing person in the nature.
Yeah.
In the woods.
I mean, it makes you. I'll tell you what. I mean, it makes you kind of think about tent camping a little bit with just by yourself or something. I definitely don't know if I would go set up a tent by myself out in some forest like that, because I mean, you got to have at least a couple people out there. I could go out there with a couple people, but myself in the wilderness, just tent camping it for a couple nights, I would be so in my head. I would hear oh my gosh, that is a Bigfoot. That is something wants to eat me right now. That's an alien. That's something, I mean, I would just be going through it all.
Yeah.
I think I'd psych myself out being in this setting like that.
I love the woods. I do. That's my zone, just to leave the cell phone in the car and just get out there, right? I have encountered bobcat, but I have never. Have you ever heard a bobcat? Man,
they're terrifying.
They sound like a fucking Antichrist baby.
A woman's being murdered.
Yes. Oh shit! Until the other day on a podcast, I heard it for the first time. I was like, "That's a fucking bobcat." I'm expecting meow, bitch, but no. It's like the Antichrist, like a demon, like the Exorcist.
It sounds like a possessed cat, just
yes.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, that's the other thing, in the wilderness, there's a lot of animals out there that make a lot of different sounds that can make everybody think like, oh my gosh, what the hell was that? You know what I mean? Could just be some elk out there that's in, heat and it's calling out for a mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or he stubbed his toe.
Yeah.
Right. He got a little thorn in his hoof,
It's not like he's got any thumbs. He can't get it out.
No. So sad.
No. No, but I mean, like I said, I do think that, hey, it's definitely a possibility. I would love to encounter it myself. Now, how close of an encounter would I like to have? I don't know. You know what I mean? Because that's kind of like one of those things you see those people out there trying to go pet some kind of a wild animal, and bam, they're just the next thing you know, they're on that.
Don't go pet a Sasquatch.
Like, hey, are you like that Harry and Henderson dude? Could I take you home? And yeah.
I want to get a dash cam for my van because I feel like if I'd had a dash cam, I could have looked back at the video and really zoomed in and figured it out.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, and as much as you travel, especially when you start getting through those wooded areas, that would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of go back and kind of slow down your footage and see what kind of things that you didn't catch by eye. Because who knows? I mean, that'd be also interesting just to go back and replay and see. Oh, shish, I didn't know there was a whole family of deer right there,
And your eyes can play tricks on you, too, because there's been a few times where I literally saw, the Grim Reaper standing in the woods. So it's shadows and stuff can play tricks.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and see, that's the thing about it is your reflection of your beams into the trees. And then, like I said, if there's webbing, shadowing, I mean, there's a lot of things that just lighting could do in general. So it is hard to say, and I'm one of those people that it's hard for me to believe in something unless I see it, but I'm not going to close my mind to it. But
right.
When you ask me, I'll just be I'm not really sure, because I'm not going to go out there and say, oh yeah, I've seen it and I can believe it. All I can go off is just, hey, I've heard some crazy stories. I've seen some crazy footage, but once again, when it comes to the World Wide Web, you never know what you're going to get, man. There's so many off videos that throw you off of the good ones that are legit, and an actual encounter, because otherwise you just see the guys over there, dressing up and
hopping through the
woods. I mean, I know I could probably pull off half the Sasquatch, just once if I grew up here, just It'd be total done.
Yeah.
Son. I would look like more of the, what's the snow version of one? The
Oh gosh.
Abominable Snowman.
Abominable stuff. Yeah.
There you go.
There's a cute TV movie about that cartoon. What is it?
Yeah, they even made a cartoon about Bigfoot now. I actually was watching it with my son. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy. It's like it's all animated, but it is a whole little Bigfoot family and stuff. So it's kind of cool, So I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people out there that are totally, believers of it. And I mean, there's, like you said, man, families got, pictures on the back of their cars or stickers, I mean, and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of folks out there. You got earrings now too, right?
I do.
Yeah.
They're made by a 10-year-old girl in Alaska. But it's so weird because, like, there's a lot of people that believe in a lot of things that are a little crazy. Like, I mean, think about the people who fall into cults or, like, these crazy religions or, like, who think I can't even say for sure if they've not been abducted by aliens, but it's just, there's so many personalities in this world. It's hard to know.
That's what we show. We like to highlight our crazy personalities. You know what I mean?
What's going on, Barbara French?
Hey, Barbara.
Barbara French.
Welcome in. Hi.
Cool name.
Yeah.
But is there anything else you guys got to share on the Bigfoot status?
I definitely have a question, right? So for years, the U.S. government has denied the whole alien thing, right? And now we've got Congress involved in wanting to find out about aliens. At what point do you see that opening up to Sasquatch? Is he really in our woods? Because, I mean, that's right here on the home front.
Yeah.
You
they've
know?
got aliens in Mexico.
Well, if they ever need another, smoking glass, then just pull out Sasquatch next, and then we'll be in the government judicial system talking about what they're doing. They're out there messing stuff up.
What if Sasquatch is created by the government? Some experiment gone wrong, and all the good things get covered up because the FBI and the CIA and all those computer analyst people can get it off the web too before we can even see it.
That's a whole nother. That is a good part of the conspiracy part of it. Like and
they mixed the bear and human DNA, and now it's like the smart human bear.
Because who's to say that a lot of these things that are put in that in our culture, like movies, shows, all these things that always portray aliens, whatever, how they always portray things a certain way. And then, so we've got our visions always thinking Bigfoot looks like this, you know what I mean? And so in our heads, we already kind of conjure it. Who's to say that they always knew that at some point in time, technology would be able to put to a point that they could actually duplicate this stuff even more and better each and every day. You know what I mean? Because they got to keep up with these cameras. These dang cameras, man. I mean, some of them got some really good zoom ups. Mm-hmm. So you got to start getting good at your fake, because people are so good at catching the fake that they can zoom in and say, oh, that fool's wearing gloves. You know what I mean? Or there's some makeup underneath that, so it is, you never know.
Let's break this down, right? So we were talking about, Barbara mentioned, is it a friendly, or what is it trying to kill people or whatever? Yeah. The one thing that I've always noticed, right, is you can tell a lot about features, and every sighting where you can see the face looks almost human-like. Right. And if you look at the way a human's teeth is, our teeth are more like general purpose. We can eat meat, but you really kind of need assistance. You need a fork, a knife, or otherwise you're biting and pulling. You don't have the canines like a dog would to tear. So a wild creature like that, if it's got human teeth, I think it would be more of a vegetarian type creature, right? So, and again, that I'm just going by all the pictures I've seen. You know, the face and the hands and the feet look human-like.
Correct. Yeah. I mean, they got 10 fingers, 10 toes, and I mean everything. It's basically an oversized human with a whole bunch of hair. I mean, that's kind of the way that it's always been shown.
And so I think that would make it more of a prey versus predator.
Yeah, but
type.
if it's in the woods as a prey and it's in the woods with predators, why haven't we ever come across like a carcass or something from like a bear getting it?
So
Because-
there actually is. I have found some footage of remains. They have a foot or a hand, and it's halfway eaten from some kind of animal. And yeah, we don't know what it is, but I wish I would. If you go on Conspiracy Friday, I do post a lot of stuff on there. All the stuff that I find that are all conspiracy. There's a lot of Bigfoot stuff going on there, alien stuff. Everything that we've talked about, I've kind of just starting to load it on there. But if you go through there, I believe I did put that in there because as soon as I see something like that, I try to throw it into the Conspiracy Friday page. That way, I remember, okay, I put it there. That way, I can go back and reference it because I am pretty sure there is, and I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, Barbara.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think also, you know, if you look at evolution of how animals are, they're not, you know, a predator is going to go after something that it can kill. It means it's looking for something its size, maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, whatever, you know, just like when they go after herds, you know, they're isolating the smaller calves and the smaller animals to go out. They're looking for the easier meal. If I had my choice between chasing down a deer or trying to fuck with Bigfoot, sorry, Bambi.
Yeah, I mean, Bigfoot sounds like Bigfoot could just barely just pop you in the face. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I just think it's their intelligence, like their evasive qualities.
And it makes you wonder, like, at what point in time did they come through in the world in terms of, and obviously they've had the ability, if this, you know, is true, right? They have the ability to escape pretty fast and get out of situations and not be hunted and things like that by humans. And obviously living out in the forest, there's a lot of humans that can't make it because there's cougars, lions, whatever. There's, you know, lions and bears. Oh my, all that stuff's out there that can just eat you walking down a path. So, I mean, for them to have as many as are out there, there's got to be some, and there's obviously, like, you never hear so much, although I've seen a couple clips of babies, little ones being, you know, seen. It's always, you see the big one.
Yeah.
You know,
where are the babies?
Right. And what do they do? And is there, but, you know, and that comes to the question of, is there places like that's undiscovered in the forest that they have been able to find that are just incapable of most people trying to get back there, but somehow because of their long bodies or whatever, they're incapable to get to places that we can't go to. You know, I don't know. It's kind of weird to think about, but you got to think about that. There's, for them to be able to survive and be kind of on the map as long as they have, and be as elusive as they are, because every shot you see is kind of not really a good shot.
Yeah, I definitely could see that, you know, because even deer, all right, animals are going to adapt, right? So you can see deer all day long. Right now is a great example. Now is about the time you're going to start seeing them closer to the highways. They're migrating. They're looking for the hickory nuts that they're going to eat and everything else. There's no set rhythm or rhyme to where they're, you know, where there's hickory nuts, that's where they're going to be, right? But over time, they know, you know, they know what day opening season is, because that's the time period they say, okay, we're starting to see more people. It must be time for them to try to kill our asses and make some sausage, you know? And at that point, I have literally set up cameras and have seen deer every day, same deer coming through. And then all of a sudden, it's a ghost town. Soon as deer season's over, they're right back chilling in that same spot again. So our seasons that make us to be, predictable. We hunt at certain times because of the environment and babies and so forth. I could see that they could learn to figure out where we are and less sightings and I definitely that whole upper area, not so much the Midwest, but there has to be areas in northern Washington, Alaska, Canada that people have never seen. I don't care who you are. There is definitely some places that people have never seen.
Well, there is documents too of like tribes that we haven't even been able to get in contact with it, and they've never even had touch with human, other contact outside of their tribe.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not too far fetched to think that this is a possibility that, and then also, if they are, obviously they have a brain capacity, it looks like, and stuff like that, and obviously they're bigger than us. Who knows? Maybe they have a bigger brain, and they say we only use a portion of our brain, but
What's going on,
maybe
Eric?
they've got that instinct, more or less of how to, survive and when to retreat. And the other thing is, you got to think about it is, if you think about it, like, why wouldn't like the wildlife and stuff be more extinct out there if they were like living, or maybe do they know better than that, and they've learned to live with the wildlife itself.
Well,
and they have respect for wildlife because they are part of it, but they're more in tune with the wildlife because of their, ability and stuff like that. So
let's take this a step further. Let's say Bigfoot. Let's say Bigfoot is a dinosaur, and over the years, due to adaptation, it has changed. That is a living fact. We know that alligators used to look different during that area. We know that the platypus looked different during that area. There's a whole bunch of fish that look different, birds and everything. And over the time, they either adapted or they became extinct. So what if that's a caveman?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
it is very ape-like and more.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it's like taking like maybe an orangutan and mating it with a human being, and it just coming out of this big old giant thing. Because the only other type of animal out there that resembles human pretty much with the 10 fingers and the 10 toes is monkeys, apes, all those type of animals. So, but they obviously they walk a different way. But it's just weird to think, and maybe Donald he's onto something too in terms of how things did evolve back from the dinosaur day, and versus how did they adapt and overcome all those things that happened back in those times when they said like the asteroids hit or whatever destroyed Earth back a long time ago, and how did they manage to make it through?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wonder what the similarities in the geography of places they've been found are, like, as in regards to like cave dwellings,
climates, and
underground.
I mean that's another thing too, is there's no clue to know that they may have this whole underground world or something, or just a huge cave thing that we never are able to see, because they probably too. I mean, I would imagine, and this is just going to be me being the like, oh, I love Bigfoot, but I imagine they're pretty strong. You know what I mean? And they probably can move a rock or two, a boulder, and put it in place. You know what I mean? Like, so maybe they're blocking some areas that people are like, oh, it's just a mountain. No, man, there's a whole family of Bigfoots in there.
Yeah. Or maybe they know how to turn into human beings, and that's why the legend of the werewolf was born.
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, Barbara, you're on it. We're going to make you a permanent part of this podcast.
Man, she's really put. Yes, there's a whole bunch of conspiracies I didn't even think
Got
about.
all
Like
kinds of shit going on in here.
That's why we brought you on. Shoot. we're making our rounds with all the spooky bitches. We had that's what they called themselves.
Yeah.
Oh man, we had Taylor on last week. We got Barbara on. Hey, my wife won't. I can't get my wife on. So
now come on, Jen.
yeah, she's
Called her out.
man. You know what's funny? I got to show a video that I did like a little test run with her.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't get through anything. I just basically turned the video on, and she just and I'd be like, "Are we going to be able to do this?" And she just start going into the whole laugh, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh,
Good time."
yeah." I was like, "I guess you can't go on video." She's like, "No." Oh my gosh! And then she started talking about Taylor Swift or something. I was like, "Okay, all right. I guess we definitely can't do an interview."
Me and Taylor talked about doing a podcast about kind of similar stuff, but like along the true crime spooky stuff.
Yeah, you guys should.
So we want to like travel to the places and like do live from those.
Oh, that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be freaking cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing when you kind of have a place that you kind of do it, but it's other thing when you actually go on locations and you kind of like show that part of it, because then you're kind of bringing everybody into your experience versus talking about it. Because there's one thing to get the experience like in sight versus just hearing about it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I like to put a little bit of some videos together to kind of make sure people get a little general idea of where I'm coming from, because that's kind of where mine's a visual.
Yeah, I like the videos in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that would be cool, because you even get to see something at that point. You know?
Yeah.
And then if we see something or experience something, it's like a shared experience with everybody, and we're like, "You guys saw that, right?"
Exactly. And it's like, and then everybody can at that point start saying, "Wow, we're getting our experience through them. Let's go."
Absolutely.
It's a good idea, though. I mean, podcasts are really hitting right now. You know what I mean? So, and anytime you can bring people on adventures, because a lot of people are scared to get out and can't get out and do those kind of things. So they vicariously do it through other people. So good opportunity.
Could be fun. We'll see if it happens.
So Donald,
watching.
What do you got in store for us for next week, man?
Man, I've been thinking about this all week. What route do I want to go, man?
Do we got one?
Huh? Do we have? Oh yeah, I have a couple that I haven't decided on which one. So let's talk about the couple, right? So this is conspiracy theory as well, right? So we've been doing some of these far-fetched ones for a minute. So let's talk about some conspiracies that are real events, right? So I'm kind of tossed between like the Waco situation or like the truth behind the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, I like both of them actually.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, both of them are true events, and both of them have conspiracies behind them.
Well,
all right,
do both.
That is going to be a fun one.
Oh.
Hey, our sound guy, he's muted. Make yourself have sound.
We have a phone call.
Oh, hey, bring
So,
him in or her. Bring her on. Yes.
Hey, no, this is thank God you can find me on TikTok.
Who?
I think it was who?
Did we get scammed?
Maybe. I don't know.
No, he said paint God. Can you guys not hear him?
No.
Oh.
I heard him real quick, and then I just I heard TikTok, and then
I'll turn it up louder.
All right.
My name's Paint.
What's going
God.
on?
You usually find me on TikTok.
Okay.
And yeah, I deal with some conspiracy stuff, but I'm a conspiracy realist. What are you guys talking about tonight?
Right now, we're talking about Bigfoot and our
Bigfoot?
thoughts on Bigfoot and the experiences with Bigfoot. Yep. Sasquatch.
Yeah, well, do you know that there's been multiple occurrences, especially around Canada, where people have tried to track them, and they're trying to do it with IR.
I didn't know that.
And they can pick that IR up for at least a 5-mile radius, and they're a different kind of creature.
Wow.
That part I have not heard. That's an interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they can see what we can't see. So while we're trying to hunt them, you can't ever catch them because they see you coming a long way ago. And yeah, it'll even go back as far as the North American Native Americans to the skinwalkers and that whole thing. So I think that the Bigfoot and the skinwalkers are kind of like closely related.
I could see that.
Definitely. And I mean, who knows if the skinwalker is a version of the Bigfoot that, you know, or vice versa. Just different stages.
Yeah, but here's where I get hung up, because everybody says that the Bigfoot, you know, kind of like stays here, but they live kind of like portals too. So that's kind of weird. Have you guys ever did any kind of research on Skinwalker Ranch before?
I have.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
I watched the documentaries.
Yeah, it is, and you know the cool part about that, you know, so the gentleman that owns Skinwalker Ranch, you know, if you talk to him, he's a real estate guy, right? Like a big commercial end real estate guy. So, you know, you would listen to him and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's just doing some shit to make his property worth money, yada yada. The funny part about that is for years he refused to let anybody know that he owned it. There was no publicity,
right?
You know,
and it doesn't explain all the unexplained kind of like hospital bills either.
Yep, absolutely.
You know? The one guy went up there, you know, like the top of the mesa when he first bought it, and just had its overwhelming feeling, and he was security, you know, he was the big dog in the whole process, and it just flat out shut dude down. And like, it wants to be peaceful, whatever it is, you know. So I don't know.
I mean, obviously they're not attacking us. You know what I mean? It's us being the curious ones,
right?
Right, exactly. That's my thought. I mean, they probably could have, you know, with their strength, their power, could have definitely taken out small towns, you know, and things of that nature. But it doesn't, you know, it always seems that when they have contact, their first instinct is to get away from it, from whatever that they're seeing. At least every footage I've ever seen, as soon as they get contact, they're out, they're gone. You know what I mean? So they don't like stick around and like wave at you and all that stuff.
The thing about the guy that had the problem at the top of the mesa, though, the thing about that guy is he was like kind of like one of the 1% biker crew. You know, he was the security, you know, badass kind of dude. You know.
Yeah, that you're talking about.
It seemed to be him that they took out, right?
Well,
so
and
maybe his heart wasn't true.
And so he was the first one to leave. He actually came in with another scientist, and that wanted to experience it. And the owner actually told him that, you know, we haven't actually really seen any proof of anything. You're kind of wasting your time. Don't expect him to see nothing. And they seen a shit ton that day. The guy that was doing the security, he ended up going back because he didn't feel good. Of them, when they went to the second location, like all of them instantly looked down and their phones were dead. You know?
Totally drained it. You know? And yeah, then they all felt some type of way, and then they went to recharge their phones and go back out again. And you know, I'm not a person that thinks that those people are really bullcrapping me.
Yeah, I don't either.
Welcome.
Sorry, guys. I'm on the front porch and doing neighbor stuff, but yeah, my brother's Joel Hunt, and he said, "Hey, man, you might want to pop on this one." So I come over here and say hello.
Yeah, we like to have fun, man. We've kind of gone through a different couple conspiracies, but we're kind of starting to get ready to get down some more rabbit holes in the next week or so. Donald got a good one up next for us.
I think we're gonna go with the Waco, man. Waco.
I got some stuff on that one. But yeah, I'm not gonna do no spoilers or nothing. But yeah,
no, man. Hey, you can always call us. Yeah, we always take calls. We love it, and you know, we're here every Friday. We're gonna be, you know, at least every Friday we can be here. We're here live, and this is kind of our thing, man. We love this part of our show.
Hey, thanks a lot. Yeah, definitely check out my channels on TikTok, and then you can kind of figure out who I am really quick.
Will do.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and give yourself a shout out again real fast. Make sure everybody hears it.
I just Paint God on TikTok, and if it has a logo with a guy in like a cartoon character kind of thing, it's a logo. I trademarked it, and it's got a guy in a respirator, and it says Indiana on the top, and it says 3% on the bottom.
Okay.
And yeah, you know where I'm at. But yeah, hey, thanks for having me. I don't want to like take over your show or nothing. I have like 5 more or something I got to do tonight, and they're all over the place. So yeah, I'm good for any kind of topics, but I love the conspiracy talk. And you know, what's the difference between the conspiracy and the truth? 9 months.
The conspiracy just hasn't been proven. Doesn't mean
it does. It's always proven. Just give it 9 months.
Exactly.
Let it get born like a baby. Just give it 9 months and see what happens, bro. We don't ever miss. We don't ever miss. We're all over the place. So anyway, y'all, God bless and thanks for having me.
Yes, sir. Thank you for coming on. All right, guys. That was awesome. So, you guys got any last thoughts on Bigfoot?
No, I think that was kind of interesting because you can either look, I think a lot of people look at it as it's an animal, but then you can also kind of go down the supernatural realm and kind of like the magical, like the skinwalkers freak me out. So I don't want to think about Sasquatch as being a skinwalker, but I
like a different version of it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because the skinwalkers more like, you know, they don't have the furry hair, right? They're about the same height and all that stuff, except minus the hair. So what is it? Hairless? Is it hairless Bigfoot?
Look, I'm not trying to say it's true, but there is a theory that aliens don't come from the outer space, that they've been here the whole time, right? And that we can't see them because they operate under different frequencies, which it would explain this creature, you know. And I could take us even further down the deep hole to try to tie that together, but we'll save that for another day. But yeah,
different realms on different planes.
Yep. Yeah. It could go deep.
Yeah.
And Barbara, we appreciate you coming on and sharing your experiences with us. That was awesome.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
Absolutely. And till next time, we'll see you, Barbara.
Thank
you. All right. Well, Donald, man. So Waco, huh?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Waco, Texas, man.
We're gonna have to do some homework. That's one's gonna be a good one. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of people out there that know all about it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
And it was a big part of my life too. I mean,
was it?
Yeah, growing up. I mean, just the stories out there. You always just documentaries now.
Yeah, and there's a lot. There's some documentaries from some religious groups out there that talked about how they were really peaceful people, and the government just kind of came in and destroyed them, and for no reason, and they were just trying to hide things. Yeah, I mean, so it is a interesting conspiracy, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to dive right into that rabbit hole.
Yes, sir.
All right, brother. Well, hey, this wraps up another great show. Man, this was fun. I think at the end of the day, we're kind of at the level of we're non-believers. You know, we're not completely believers, but we're somewhere right in the middle on this one, I think. But I don't think it's far-fetched that they're out there. You know what I mean? So,
oh, absolutely.
I just got to see it for myself.
And we want to.
Yeah, dude. Embrace it. I'm going to speak that into my existence. I will see a Bigfoot before I die. All right, brother. Till next Friday.
Later.